going on, everyone? We are live for the second time because technology is not my friend today. Get a little better lighting in there. We are going to have on Emily. We're just going to get everything set up to go. Give me one sec. Boom. Okay, there it is.
Hey, sorry, I was trying to join on my computer, but that didn't seem to work. So I'm on my
Yeah,
phone.
Instagram is finicky. It's like it
Yeah,
lets you watch it, but it won't let you join.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
it's. I don't know what we're going to do. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. Do you mind if I do a quick introduction? Is that okay?
Sure, yeah.
Perfect. All right, guys. Welcome to the First Position Real Estate, the first show. Today on, we have Emily Dwyer. It's going to be a great conversation. My name is Isaiah Henry. I'm with First Position Real Estate. I help government employees in Ontario invest in real estate so they can build wealth and retire early. Emily, thank you for joining us and welcome.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Do you want to, before we kind of get into the questions we have, do you want to give us, a 30-second rundown who you are, how you got into real estate, and what's kind of going on for you?
Yeah, sure. Um, yeah, my elevator pitch or my spiel. So I bought my first property, my first rental property, or investment property, I guess, September of last year. So we're almost getting to the year mark. So that's going to be an exciting milestone and anniversary for me.
Yeah.
It never really crossed my mind to buy an investment property. I didn't really know that this whole REI world existed, until I connected with the Rockstar group and did some trainings and some lessons, and joined their group, and man, what a whirlwind, what a learning experience. It was really cool. Then I started to learn a lot more, and realized that this is exactly what I wanted. And I'd been looking for the it thing for me for a long time.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things, and yeah, I loved it immediately. I've always loved, been obsessed with real estate for a long time, and just looking for the kind of thing that was going to get me, and hopefully get me retired early as well. So
There you
yeah.
go. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
There is Tom and Nick still kicking around over there at Rockstar?
Tom and Nick are still there. Yeah, yeah. We had dinner with them. There's a mastermind that I'm part of, so Tom was there, and it was cool. Yeah, it was cool
That's
to meet
good,
him.
man. They are good
Yeah.
people. I gotta say that. If we'll just dive in here and get some questions rolling, get the conversation started. I've been following you for a little bit. By the way, love the red glasses, but we'll talk on that in a second.
Yeah.
In terms of your strategy, like I see that you're combining both the Airbnb and the long-term investing strategy. How did you see that working, or why have you chosen kind of that combination of strategies?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good question. Really, the short answer is that it was just organic, to be honest. It wasn't what I had set out to do. It just sort of happened as I started to learn more about the different strategies available, and sort of just what worked and what I actually was interested in doing. So, I set out, I bought my first bungalow on the Hamilton Mountain in September. The idea there was to just duplex it, and rent it out to long-term tenants. That was the initial strategy there. But we decided to kind of go all out with the finishings in the upper unit, and we did vaulted ceilings, we did a feature wall, we did wainscoting, like we went all out, right? Like it was, yeah. And looking at the finished product, I was like, oh, like there's no way I'm going to get the best bang for my buck doing a long-term rental here.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was meant for something else. And then the idea of a midterm or a medium-term rental came by, that I was kind of reading and researching and talking to people about, and I loved that immediately. I thought that was so cool. And so that was the initial strategy going in there, that I was going to do a long-term rental in the basement, because it was just, it was a regular, it was nice. Obviously, it was completely redone, legal, all that. Love that. And sorry, I'm trying to find the best position. So we did the long term in the basement, got really good tenants there, but the upper unit we decided to do a medium term, and and then I just got connected with a designer who was going to help me furnish the place, all that stuff, and then it worked out, and I put it on Airbnb, and within 24 hours, I had 3 inquiries and 1 booking for 2 months. It was instant. You know? And I was like, holy crap, you know, like this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I was just completely hooked. I was like, this is the best, you know. Yeah, I had a really amazing family that moved in for 2 months. So at that point, that was my medium term, like my first medium term.
Yeah.
And then after that, then I was like, well, I don't know, like maybe I should think about, you know, also introducing short term. Like I could, you know, this place could be for anything. It could be medium, long, short term, whatever it is, you know, whatever works. It's furnished, it's beautiful. I'm like, let's do it. Yeah. So that's kind of what started, and that's how it all sort of happened. It was just you just kind of naturally just sort of get led to things that just make sense at the time, and then you kind of just go with it. So
I love it. A couple things I wanted to pick apart there. So first thing, you know, you found the property, you had a plan, the plan changed as you were going to. Like I talked to some investors who are looking to get in or maybe like move on for first or second. They're like, ooh, I can't, like I've had someone say, like, oh, I don't know how the property will be in 10 years. I'm like, 10 years? How's it going to be in 10 days? Like,
yeah.
they think so far ahead, but they've been
No.
like, you know, crushed it in front of them. And I just love the approach you took. You know, you got it, you took action. Like obviously you're making smart decisions, but look how this investment has just grown from like a traditional duplex conversion to short term, medium term. So many options there. That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what we did, you know, like, yeah, you know, obviously it worked as a long term, right? We're like, but it could also work a lot better as a midterm, and then way better as a short term, you know. And we could always peel it back if need be, because I know that there's always regulations that are likely coming down with Hamilton, but you know, we have those backup plans if need be. So
that's awesome there. Now in terms of like the workload, like I'm guessing you live close to your investment property?
No, I don't.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
Talk to you there.
Right. So I have outsourced everything that I possibly can. Because it's funny because you know, going into the medium term, I had the full intention of doing it myself. And I was like, okay, no, this is gonna be great. Yeah, I could do it myself, no problem. I just have to figure out who my power team's gonna be to help me with this. And then that switched, and then that changed, and I was like, you know, I don't really want to do this anymore. And that's, you know, it was a decision that I made, and I'm like, my time is better used elsewhere.
So smart.
Yeah. And so that's what I did. So then I started to research companies or folks that I could get help from and that could help me with this. And so part of Corey McKinnon's group, we had Charles Crompton and Tiffany Crompton.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
Charles.
so we had a great chat just about, you know, what they could offer, what they're looking for their own portfolio, what made sense, you know, did this make sense? You know, I had this great property completely fully furnished. It was already done for them. You know, and it was just a decision, like, it was just a discussion, like, hey, could this be something that you can kind of tack on, and, you know, what would that look like, and so on. And so, yeah, it just made sense, and and we've been partners for about a month now, and they've transformed it into a short term for me, and they completely manage it. And we've been booked solid, like not even 1 day gap, not 1 day. We've had like 4 hours between guests. That's been the max. So,
whoa, that's crazy. Oh my gosh, Charles is gonna get his inbox flooded after this. Hey, no way.
I know it is. Yeah.
That's going to be good. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad, like, you know, that's really working out. Obviously, like, you know, I know Charles personally, so like, that's great that you guys are connected, kind of on that front there. But yeah, that's amazing. That's, I love it there. Interest of time, I'm going to move to the second question I have there. In terms of coming, I know you mentioned it a little bit, in terms of like overcoming like legislation, coming with short-term and medium-term rentals, one, what kind of resources did you use to kind of figure that out? And then two, what are your plans kind of dealing with that as they come?
Yeah, so currently in Hamilton, there's nothing. Like, so that's one of the municipalities that don't seem to. It's coming though. I've heard rumors. At this point, it's just rumors. Although I think there's something to it other than rumors. But right now, Hamilton, there aren't any licensing permits, that kind of thing. Right now, which is unusual because a lot of the other cities around Hamilton do have something. And so I think the pressure's on, and it makes sense. Like it's obviously they want to make sure that people are doing it right in their city, managing their properties properly and so on. So I get it. It's just what that's going to look like and how impactful that's going to be to the operators currently in the city is another question. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, and so yeah, we've been thinking about it, like what's going to happen, like what and every city has different rules. Some of the permit process, like I've been, just as a background, so I've been looking at Welland as well, St. Catharines, Brantford, Toronto. I live in Toronto, so I've been looking at potential short-term, mid-term properties in Toronto as well, because it's a lot easier for me if I needed to actually go to the property.
Yeah.
And every city has a completely different rule on how short-term rentals work. Sometimes you need to actually be living in the property to have the short-term rental. Sometimes you just need to actually have an operator living there, and that could actually be a long-term tenant living there that are just kind of on the lease for the short term, or just kind of on the books or on the permits for the short term. So, I mean, who knows? We're just gonna have to roll the punches, but I think the ultimate backup strategy is to go back to the medium term.
That's good.
So, yeah.
That's perfect. So again, you talked about the whole rolling with the punches. I love that attitude, just the way you're approaching it. And like, I don't want people to misconstrue this as, oh, just whatever, just buy, sell. That's not it. But I do really love the rolling with the punches, like mentality. Like, stuff's going to change. I can't control.
Yeah.
And let's just figure out a way to capitalize on that either way. So I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, and one thing I'll add there, like, yeah, it's true. Like, you can't lose sleep over it. It's gonna happen. These interest rates, it happened. We have to kind of figure it out how that makes sense for you. Maybe you may have to pivot for, whatever that means to you, whatever that looks for you. But, and it's kind of relying on your team and your group to help you figure out how to do it. Because there's always going to be different thoughts around it. There's always going to be different ways to kind of go about doing things. And so it's just kind of, relying on the people that you trust and that seem to know more than you. and then, that's it.
That's perfect. One thing before the last question we have there, in terms, because you said like, maybe a strategy to pivot here is going back to medium term. Now, medium term, were you still doing it on Airbnb, or were you doing it on a different platform?
Yeah, I was doing Airbnb actually for the medium term. I know that there are different ways of doing the medium term, but that's so far been how I've done it, just because it's so easy, and you get the insurance policy with the Airbnb, you get their protection. I just like the format and the platform of that, and that's where people are looking on that platform as well. So it was just easy, to be honest. So yeah.
I love it. Love it. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Last question here. This is like a branding one. And I'm telling you, I looked at a lot of people's brands, and like yours just popped out, hit me in the face once or twice. Talk to me about Red Glasses REI. How did that come? Where did that all come from?
Yeah. It's so funny because I get this question obviously a lot.
I bet.
Yeah. And I don't know if I have a good response for it yet, but this is the story. So I'll tell you the story, and then we can kind of figure out how to maybe make it a better response for the future. But so I did some personal coaching early last year.
Yeah.
Just kind of life coaching, career coaching, that kind of thing. And that's actually what led me to REI. So it was a great experience. Cool. But one of the exercises that my coach gave all of our students was this kind of vision exercise. So what do you look like in 10 years? What are you wearing in 10 years? Well, what are you eating? How are you enjoying your time? How do you find joy? That was the exercise, right? And when I was working on the image vision of me, it was just an instant image of me with red glasses.
Oh.
And at the time I had a clear pair of glasses. I have a bunch of black pair. I have a tortoise shell. And for some reason, out of completely nowhere, it just popped in my head that and it's all connected to real estate too, which is interesting. So I had this vision that I was in real estate somehow. I wasn't sure how at that point. Either I was going to be a realtor or I was going to be an REI or whatever. It was some kind of real estate relation. And then it was me with red glasses. And I couldn't shake it. It was
Nice.
just, it was something that I could not shake. And I slept on it, but it would come back the next day. I'm like, this is it. It was like this gut kind of like, it's like this feeling that you just like, you're like, yep, that's it.
Love it.
And I don't know, that's the story. So yeah. And, that's it. So
I love it. I
yeah.
think that is, I don't care how you got there. I like the branding for me is not, because even when I talk about branding and passing with other people, like I literally talk about, oh yeah, like there's this girl Emily, she does real estate investing, Red Glasses REI. Like
Yeah.
I almost I have to step back. I'm like, what is your name, right? Like
I know.
just because
No
like
one
that
knows my
phrase,
name.
right? That's like it's so good, which is a
They're like
good bad, right? Like
that red glasses girl. Yeah,
yeah,
that's all.
like yeah, Mrs. Red Glasses or
That girl. Yeah.
exactly, right? But I think that branding piece is so good, whether people take like how you brand or how you built a story, or
Yeah.
whether they have that not nagging, where they have that overwhelming vision or push to kind of put some sort of branding out there. I think this is a prime example of how that can work there.
Yeah, and it just fit, right? And it just I don't know why it worked, but it did, and it was true to me, and that was it. So
I
yeah.
love it. I love
Hmm.
it. Good stuff.
Hmm.
Emily, before we go, what's in the future? What are the next couple plans going on?
Yeah. Yeah, good question. So one of my goals, actually, I have a couple goals, obviously, this year. I want to up the cash flow for sure. I really love the medium term, short term model. I want to do a lot more of those. It was so fun. It was so creative. I loved it. I loved every
Yeah.
minute of it. Cash flow is amazing currently, so also love that part. But I really want to do a laneway or a garden suite conversion. So that's my thing, and I've been looking for one of those projects for a while now, and I need one. So I'm itching to buy, but it needs to be the right one. So
Good stuff. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, if you're ever in the Durham region looking, I definitely see a couple of those, like, with the garage in the back, like,
yeah.
I was like, oh man, that's awesome. So, hey guys, if anyone's, got a garage or some sort of conversion, Red Glasses,
Yeah.
she's looking for it right there.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, do you have any questions for me before we wrap this thing up?
No, just thank you so much. This has been so fun. This is my first Insta Live, so this has been cool. Yeah, I liked
That's
it.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's good. Hey, I'm glad. I'm glad. Quick wrap up
Yeah.
before we end it off here, guys. We had on Emily Dwyer today. Crazy conversation. It was awesome. She talked a little bit about how to incorporate long-term rentals as well as short-term rentals in the same model and going through different experiences there. We talked a little bit about mindset, kind of rolling with the punches while making good decisions, and a little bit about branding. We all gotta love something like that. Emily, where can people find out more about you if they want to get in touch, get involved? Where can they reach out?
So yeah, I only have Instagram at this point. I'm working on my website. That might be a future goal, but right now it's just Instagram. It's a Red Glasses REI, and that's it. Yeah, reach out.
Awesome. That's good. All right, guys, if you have any questions, you know where to find her. It's Isaiah Henry, First Position Real Estate. As always, I help government employees in Ontario invest in real estate so they can build wealth and retire early. Emily, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time, okay?
Thanks so much. Yep.
Yeah,
Thanks.
see you. Bye.
Bye.